something just happened that fans never saw coming. Amber Marshall, the heart and soul of Heartland, has revealed news that could change season 19 forever. What she said has left millions shocked, worried, and desperate to know the truth. If you love Heartland and Amy Fleming, then what you are about to hear will hit you hard. For over 17 years, Amber Marshall has not only played Amy Fleming, she has lived her story. Amy is more than just a character. She's a symbol of strength, family, and love. Since Heartland first aired in 2007, fans have grown up with her. They have watched her fall in love, suffer loss, heal horses, and hold her family together during their darkest hours. When Ty died, fans did not just watch a character cry. They cried with her. Heartland has always been emotional, but it is Amber who gives the show its heart. That is why any news about Amber feels personal to fans. They feel connected to her like a friend or family member. They follow her on social media, listen to her interviews, and wait for every update she shares. She has always been honest and open with fans. And that honesty is exactly what made her latest revelation so powerful. Heartland season 19 has been one of the most emotional seasons yet. Even before episode 3, many viewers said they could feel something building, something heavy that was coming for Amy. Some believed it was just part of the story. Others wondered if something deeper was happening behind the scenes. Now those questions are louder than ever. As season 19 began, fans noticed something different about Amy. It was subtle at first. A certain distance in her eyes during emotional scenes. Quiet pauses that felt longer. A heaviness in her voice that did not seem scripted. Some viewers thought she was just tired. Others thought the writers wanted to show Amy going through a personal struggle. But a few longtime fans knew that Amber rarely acts without purpose. If she brings that kind of emotion to a scene, it usually has meaning. Then, rumors started spreading online. Was Amber taking a break from Heartland? Did she have a new project lined up? Was there something going on in her personal life? No one knew for sure. But one thing was clear. Something was happening. And whatever it was big enough to affect her on screen. Those whispers turned into full discussions across Facebook groups, Reddit threads, and Heartland fan pages. People began asking the same question. Is Amber Marshall planning to leave Heartland? Whenever a show reaches this many seasons, cast changes are always a concern. But Heartland is not just any show, and Amy is not just any character. Without Amber, many fans say Heartland would not feel like Heartland anymore. Still, no one wanted to jump to conclusions. After all, Amber has always said how much Heartland means to her. She has said many times that playing Amy is a blessing. She loves the fans, the message of the show, and being part of the Heartland family. So maybe it was nothing. Maybe everything was fine. But just days before episode 3, Amber finally spoke up, and that is when everything changed. The truth does not always arrive with a loud warning. Sometimes it appears quietly, in small moments that only make sense later. That is exactly what happened before Amber Marshall revealed her news. The signs were there, but most fans ignored them because they did not want to believe what they were seeing. It began with a simple change in Amber's public appearance. Over the past months, she started sharing fewer behind-the-scenes photos from Heartland. In earlier seasons, she always posted updates from the ranch, pictures with Spartan the horse, and selfies with the cast. But this time, her posts shifted. Instead of Heartland content, she began sharing peaceful moments from her home, photos of her animals, and reflections about life. Some fans thought she just wanted privacy, but others wondered if she was slowly stepping away. Then there were interviews. In one recent appearance, a reporter asked Amber if she could imagine herself playing Amy for many more years. In the past, her answer was always full of energy. She would smile and say, "I hope so." But this time, she paused. Her smile faded a little before she replied. "Life changes," she said softly. "Sometimes new chapters come when we least expect them." It was an innocent answer on the surface, but there was something deeper in her voice. Something emotional she did not explain. Even her co-stars seemed to hint that something was different. Sean Johnston, who plays Jack Bartlett, made an emotional comment at a fan event. He said, "Heartland is always about family. No matter what changes, that will never go away. It sounded like a normal statement. But why bring up change? At the time, fans clapped and moved on. But after Amber's recent news, those words feel like a warning no one recognized. The biggest clue came during filming. Extras and local reporters in Alberta noticed that Amber's filming schedule was lighter than usual. In previous seasons, Amy was in almost every scene. In season 19, though, it appeared she had more days off set. Some speculated the writers were giving more screen time to other characters like Lou, Katie, or Georgie. Others believed Amy was going to have a major emotional arc. But a few people suggested something else. Was Amber preparing for something big? Despite everything, fans hoped it was nothing serious. They wanted to believe she was simply tired, taking care of herself, or working on another side project. Heartland fans are loyal. They are protective. They did not want to accept that Amber might be struggling or thinking about a major decision. So people stayed quiet and pushed their worries away, but tension grew online. When a few entertainment blogs began reporting that a key Heartland cast member might be planning a major announcement, they did not mention Amber's name, but they did not need to. Everyone knew who they were talking about. Still, Amber said nothing. She never fuels drama. She respects her fans and avoids attention-seeking rumors. But silence creates space for fear, and fear spreads quickly. By the time episode 3 was approaching, online comments had exploded. Thousands of fans begged for answers. "Please tell us Amy is not leaving," one wrote. Another said, "Heartland will never be the same without her." And yet, Amber stayed quiet until she finally broke her silence days before episode 3 aired. Her news was not just a simple update. It was emotional. It was raw. And it changed everything fans thought they knew about the future of Heartland. When Amber finally spoke, she did not make a flashy press announcement. She did not call a news conference. Instead, she did what she has always done. She sat down, turned on her phone camera, and talked directly to her fans with honesty. No script, no makeup team, no production lights. Just Amber being real. The video was only a few minutes long, but the weight of her words was heavier than anyone expected. She posted it quietly on her Instagram and YouTube. Within minutes, it had thousands of views. Fans who pressed play expecting a simple update were met instead with a message filled with emotion and uncertainty. She began by thanking fans for their love and support over the years. Her voice was steady at first, but her eyes gave away her feelings. She said she had been reading comments and messages and knew that people were worried about her absence. She admitted that she could feel the concern growing online. Then she exhaled, like someone who had been holding back for too long, and said the words that shook the Heartland community. "There are times in our lives when we are called to make choices we never expected. And right now, I am facing one of those moments." She paused. You could see emotion building behind her eyes. She did not need dramatic music or fast edits. Her silence said enough. Then she continued, explaining that the last few years had not been easy. She had given everything to Heartland since she was a teenager. The show became her life. But she admitted that being Amy Fleming came with pressure. Emotional pressure, physical pressure, creative pressure. And sometimes, when you give so much of yourself to something, you forget to take care of your own heart. Amber confessed that she had been struggling quietly. She said she had been thinking about her future, her dreams outside of acting, and her life beyond the Heartland set. She talked about needing time to breathe, to explore new passions, and to reconnect with who she is outside of Amy Fleming. Then came the moment that broke fans. Amber finally admitted what so many feared. She had talked to the producers about stepping back from Heartland. Not quitting completely, not walking away forever, but not staying exactly the same either. She said she needed to make space in her life. Space to grow, space to heal, space to figure out what comes next. She made it clear that Heartland still means everything to her. The cast is like her second family. The fans, she said, were the reason she found the courage to speak at all. She even shared that filming season 19 had been emotional because she knew things were changing. She hinted that episode 3 would be especially meaningful not just for Amy, but for herself. At the end of the video, she left fans with a message full of love and truth. no matter what happens next. I want you to know that my time on Heartland has changed my life. And I hope Amy's journey has helped change yours too. She did not confirm whether she is leaving the show. She did not give a timeline. She did not even fully explain her decision. But one thing was clear: Amber Marshall was preparing for a new chapter. Within an hour, her video had spread across every Heartland fan page in the world. People replayed it again and again, searching for clues, reading between every line. Was this goodbye? The internet did not stay quiet after Amber posted her message. In minutes, fan pages turned into emotional support groups. Comment sections were filled with fear, confusion, and heartfelt words. Some viewers were in denial. Some were angry. Others simply broke down. Amber Marshall has never just been an actress to Heartland fans. She represents hope. She represents healing. And now, that hope felt uncertain. On Facebook, thousands of comments flooded the official Heartland page. One fan wrote, "I grew up watching Amy overcome everything life threw at her. I never thought I would have to imagine Heartland without Amber. I'm not ready." Another wrote, "If this is goodbye, I want her to know she changed lives." Mine included. These were not casual viewers. These were people who had held onto Amy's strength during their own battles. People who turned to Heartland not just for entertainment, but for comfort. Heartland is more than a series. For many, it is a companion during lonely nights. It is a reminder that second chances exist. It teaches that broken hearts can heal. And Amy, the character Amber brought to life, has been the face of those lessons. That is why her emotional message hit so many people so deeply. It felt like losing someone close, but fans were not the only ones affected. The cast started reacting, though in quiet ways. Michelle Morgan, who plays Lou, reposted Amber video with a single heart emoji and the words, "Always proud of you." Sean Johnston shared a photo of the Heartland Ranch with the caption, "Some journeys change, but family forever." Graham Wardle, who played Ty, even liked the post, which set off another wave of emotions. Some fans wondered if he already knew what Amber was planning. Others feared that Heartland was slowly losing the magic that made it special. Then, suddenly, a new storm began speculation. Fans started asking, "Is this why episode 3 feels so emotional?" Rumors spread that episode 3 might include a major turning point for Amy. Some claimed it would explain Amber's decision. Others believed it might be her final episode of the season. No one knew the truth. But something about episode 3 now felt bigger, heavier, almost like it was carrying a secret. And maybe it was. Clips from episode 3 began circulating online. Without spoilers, it was clear that Amy was facing a deeply personal choice in the story. Her character looked torn between staying safe at Heartland or taking a risk that could change her life forever. Fans noticed the sadness in her eyes, the emotional weight behind every line. Amber was not just acting, she was living something real. And now, with her message, episode 3 began to feel like more than just writing. It felt like goodbye, or at least, the beginning of it. Twitter became a storm of theories. Episode 3 is connected to her announcement. I can feel it, something big is coming. I'm shaking watching the promo. I'm scared this is Amy's last season. But in the middle of fear and panic, something beautiful began to happen. A wave of support rose from the fans. Instead of begging her to stay, thousands began writing messages of encouragement. Someone started the hashtag We Stand With Amber, and soon it was trending among the Heartland community. People thanked her for her honesty. They reminded her that she deserved happiness too. And little by little, the chaos settled into something stronger. Love. The Heartland family, fans, cast, and creators came together, just like they always do in the show. And as episode 3 approached, one question echoed around the world. Is this the moment Amy Fleming says goodbye? When episode 3 of season 19 finally aired, fans did not watch it the way they watched other episodes. They watched it differently. They watched it with fear, with hope, and with the weight of Amber's message in their hearts. Every scene felt heavier. Every word Amy spoke felt important. And from the very first moment she appeared on screen, viewers knew this episode was not like the others. The episode opened quietly, but there was tension beneath the surface. Amy stood outside the barn with Spartan beside her. There was no dramatic music, no dramatic twist. Instead, it was simple, honest, emotional, but there was something in her eyes, a deep sadness mixed with a softness that looked like acceptance. It was the look of someone standing at a crossroads. As the episode continued, Amy faced a choice that mirrored Amber's real-life message. A ranch from far away reached out to her, a place where troubled horses needed her help. They asked her to come and stay for a while, to work with rescue horses full-time. It was a big opportunity. It was also a big change. If she accepted, she would have to leave Heartland for months. She would have to step away from her family, her daughter Lyndy, and the life she had rebuilt after losing Ty. The offer shook Amy, but what shook fans even more was how real her reaction felt. She confessed in one scene, "Sometimes I wonder if I've forgotten who I am." That line hit like thunder. Fans began flooding the comments on live watch parties. "She's talking about her real life," one viewer wrote. Another said, "This is Amber speaking through Amy." The episode didn't rush. Instead, it slowly revealed Amy's inner struggle. She talked to Jack. She talked to Lou. She stood in the fields alone, thinking, silent. And every moment, every pause felt like Amber sharing a piece of her heart. The writers did not hide the message. They made it clear. Amy needed change. She needed space. She needed time to find herself again. The emotional high point came when Jack found her in the barn late at night. Amy confessed she was scared not of leaving but of letting go. Jack didn't try to stop her. He didn't tell her to stay. Instead, in that calm, wise voice fans know so well, he said, "You don't lose yourself by moving forward. You lose yourself by standing still." Those words broke viewers, not just because they were beautiful, but because they sounded like a goodbye blessing. The episode ended with Amy making her decision. She accepted the offer. She would leave Heartland. Not forever, but for now. As she rode Spartan one last time across the fields, tears in her eyes, the camera stayed on her longer than usual. It was a quiet ending. No dramatic exit. No goodbye speech. Just Amy Amber riding into a new chapter. And that is exactly why fans were shaken. This didn't feel like fiction. It felt real. Too real. Episode 3 wasn't just another episode. It was a message. A mirror. A warning. It was Amber Marshall telling the world through Amy Fleming that life is about change. That sometimes love means letting go. And that even the strongest hearts need time to heal. After the credits rolled, the real question remained. Was this just Amy's story? Or was this truly Amber goodbye? After episode 3 aired, the silence from the official Heartland team could no longer continue. Fans were demanding answers. Was Amy really leaving? Was Amber stepping away from the show? And why did episode 3 feel like a hidden farewell? The Heartland production team had seen the storm unfolding online, hashtags trending, emotional fan videos, forums overflowing with questions. They knew they had to address it before speculation spun out of control. So, just one day after episode 3 aired, Heartland released an official statement, but the statement did not calm the situation. In fact, it made things even more emotional. The message came from showrunner Heather Conkey, and it was carefully worded. It did not deny anything. It did not confirm anything. Instead, it acknowledged what everyone already felt. Change is coming. The statement read, "Heartland has always been about life's journeys. Every character grows, every family changes, and every story has chapters. Season 19 explores new paths, not just for Amy, but for all of us. Amber Marshall remains a loved and important part of this series and always will be. We support her, always." Fans read it 3 times, trying to find meaning between the lines. Remains a loved and important part. Some took that as comfort. Others worried it meant Amber's role was already shifting. The statement gave no direct confirmation about whether she would return full-time or if episode 3 marked the beginning of her exit arc. Then, the Heartland publicist added a second message to the fans: "Thank you for your patience and passion. Amy's journey is far from over. Please stay with us. The story isn't finished." That sentence, "Amy's journey is far from over," spread fast. Some fans celebrated, believing it confirmed she would return. Others pointed out that far from over might simply mean the character still exists, even if she isn't always on screen. The producers were not the only ones who spoke up. CBC, the network behind the show, released a short statement of their own. It focused on gratitude, emphasizing how deeply Amber's work had connected with viewers over the years. But again, no clear answer. The network avoided saying she was staying. They avoided saying she was leaving. They simply encouraged fans to continue watching. Still,